you've been following anything that I've been doing in the last little bit, you know that I've just recently picked up new employment, and the guy I'm working for, I'm telling you, he's a real pusher, like real, just get you going all the kind, like just driving on you, no letting off the gas kind of thing, right? And sometimes I think that maybe you just need to not let off the gas. Sometimes we don't let off the gas enough, right? And other times we let off the gas just a bit too much. And when we do that, sometimes you can fall into these crevices. And then what happens is we overcompensate too much in another direction. And this story is as old as time. Where do I find my balance? Where do I find who I am? And where does everything else stop? And how do I make the difference? How do I identify where that boundary line is? Well, there's a couple of ways that I've realized that this happens, all right? You can go through it the hard way, which is the path I chose to take, not maybe knowingly, but knowing what I know now is certainly not a path I would have continued to take. Know that time, okay, is your most precious asset that you have. You get to decide what you do with it. You get to decide how you play out each minute of it for as long as you can. And then all of a sudden things will change. Your plan will change and you'll get knocked down. And that's okay. That's gonna happen a bunch of times. It's gonna happen when you're at the top. It's gonna happen when you're at the bottom. And it's gonna happen when you're at the in-between. There are a few things that you can do, however, especially when you're starting out, all right? So for people, that are pushing to get through school, and you're in that place of why bother? Why bother doing anything? Well, I could say if you don't, then who will, right? But more than that, there's a tether amongst us all. And that tether sometimes can be distorted and can be pushed into the whole me, myself, and I. But you need to remember that there's always a place where you can advance, always a way that you can move forward. Even when all the chips seem stacked against you, even when you feel like nobody, okay, is, I don't know, like really paying attention and getting validation. Where should that come from, okay? There's a lot of places you can find it. Lord knows I've seeked it in all sorts of places. But ultimately, validation needs to come from within you, right? Why is that important? Well, because this time of year, okay, for me, it really kind of like harnesses in, or like owns in, I guess is maybe a better term for it, on, focusing on this ideology of what you can give somebody in a material way, in my opinion, is a very wasteful time or way of spending your time. And why I say that is because I've been complacent and I've done that, all right? Going buying big things, doing big gestures. really, really at the end of the day, you don't remember those gifts that person got you, right? You remember the time you had with that person, the time you have with that person, hopefully. And if you can, give a little bit back, right? And that's getting harder. Absolutely, it's getting harder. But it depends on how you define giving back, right? So, monetarily, for myself, I do what I can, but I do have time and I do have a bit of juice left in the bones, so I give my time and a bit of skill set that I used to have to somebody that can be, right? And this is very important because growing up as a young man myself, with not a lot of role models, fortunately, the ones that did show me some grace did guide me in a right way and gave me enough pointers that I was able to catch on. But I find that these days, it takes a bit more than that. When I was a kid, I used to hear the older people say, like, we walked to school uphill both ways, and like, they don't make them like they used to type thing. And I had that thinking. I'm now a father, children of my own, and those thoughts are in my mind because they were embedded when I was young. But there's a little like brake that pulls where I'm able to silence those words because I know how powerful words are and how lasting they can be. To break them. And then it brings into question this: how much protection should you give before the nurture is removed? I think you should always believe in magic. Because magic always exists. It always has existed. It depends on what your definition of it is. Just like, what's your definition of anything, really? And that's what's important, okay? To take anything away from anything that I have said or anything that I will say is knowing that it's what your definition, what your perception of things are that help you be realistic. If you have a goal, if you want to get somewhere, and you're drowning yourself in debt while believing that you will attain your goals, that's not factual. It's not factual to take from tomorrow to pay for today. It may be in the present time, because procrastination is a gift unique to us humans. So to draw in on a finer point, if you have things to say, if you have people you love, make sure that you tell them you do. Make the phone calls you can while you can. This time of year is sombering as seasons change. They all bring different things. They always will. This one is no different. Don't look at anything as an ending, for there's always a new beginning, and roots seep deep into the ground. As they do, they regrow. We regrow. We can change, or we can refuse to change. Change doesn't care. Only we can. And we should. We should want to. We should want better. We deserve better. And we can do better, and we will do better. Remember how important you are, truly, in the grand scope of things, okay? It's easy to forget this. It's easy to just blend it all in with everything. It takes effort to put yourself in the equation, right? We talk about an algorithm on here all the time. And I like this term because it always brings me back to the idea of we the people. We the people are many. We the people can. We the people will. Anyway, for all y'all that did stop in, thank you so much. I hope you are well. Be well. Continue to stay well. Be healthy as you possibly can be. Things can sneak up on you, and they don't come in physical form all the time. Till next time, keep on shining. We out.